Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cherry and Timber Talk IPL midweek review for the first four games that we saw in the last 4 days. And we have a very special guest today with us, Mr. Shankar. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good. Thank you, Venu, and thank you,
Yeah,
Mahesh and Yogi as well.
all right. He joins us from Pune, right?
That's right.
All right. And the interesting part about having him on the show is that, as per our sources, we have been told that he has a knack of doing some extremely accurate predictions when it comes to cricket. So that's why we thought, it's best to get him on the show and, hear it from the horse's mouth. So be prepared for some tough questions today. All right. All right.
Sure, Venu.
Yeah. Great. So we have seen some exciting action and some not so exciting action in the last 4 days, and some very strange incidents as well. So we'll talk all about it, in the right order. So with the first game, Mahesh, what was your, what did you feel about the first win that CSK had against Mumbai? Was there anything different that Mumbai could have done, and how was that game for you?
See, as far as Mumbai Indians were concerned, I think their fielding was terrible and they did not play the middle overs well.
Hmm.
I think at the end of the power play, they were pretty well placed, around 50 for no loss.
Yep.
Then they lost those two quick wickets, that is both the openers. And from then onwards, all of them were in a tearing hurry to go and score runs. See, when you have got 20 overs to play, it makes sense to get in, get used to the pace and bounce. See, all of them have not been playing cricket for maybe at least 6 months. So you don't just go out and start throwing caution to the wind, which I thought was very surprising, the way they did it. And then when they came to field, I think their fielding was completely off color. You don't normally associate poor fielding with Mumbai Indians. They've got some very good fielders, but all of them were making mistakes. But the highlight was Bumrah's bowling. I thought he bowled terrible that day. Poor guy. He just didn't get it. He was completely
rhythm.
offline, off lane, no rhythm, and he got really tonked around. Maybe a much better performance by Bumrah that day could have sealed the game in Mumbai Indians' favor.
I think that was the key.
I look forward to today's match. I think he should make amends for what he did last time.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead, Yogesh.
So now, Mahesh, just to add on that, when I did the sort of pre-match Mumbai squad analysis, that's one of the points I'd mentioned, that Bumrah and Pandya both are coming back from back injuries, and you got to see actually how they perform in match situations. Looking at Bumrah and not bowling a single Yorker was actually a validation of the fact that maybe he was trying not to go full throttle right up front in the tournament. So maybe we'll start seeing those Yorkers. Not quite that day though.
Agreed.
If I may take the liberty to ask a question.
Sure.
So, Mahesh, what's your view on not using Pandya or Pollard in the bowling attack? Both are very seasoned, very clever bowlers.
Too much for Mumbai Indians. Even last year also, if you see, he doesn't bowl too much. Whereas he bowls, when he plays the CPL, he bowls. But I've seen for some strange reason for the Mumbai Indians, he doesn't bowl. Pandya, like what Yogesh said, he's coming back from a back injury. I think they will not want to expose his back so quickly in the tournament. Let him get used to it. See, match fitness and normal fitness is a huge difference that all of you all will agree.
Yes.
So they have not played a single match for the last 6 months. What is the kind of gym facility they would have got last 1 month? Only after they would have reached Abu Dhabi or Dubai, they would have actually gone to the gym. In India, they wouldn't have even done any gym also. So taking all this into account, probably that's the reason why they wouldn't have got Hardik Pandya to bowl. But I'm sure as the tournament goes along, and if their need arises, they will give Pandya. But Pandya's primary job would be to go and score some quick runs.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, also I think in T20 cricket, I'm not so convinced of Pandya's ability to stem runs in the middle overs. You look at him as a bowler you might go to if maybe your key bowler is having an off day or something like that. But just doesn't seem like a bankable prospect. Maybe not at this stage in his career. Maybe, if he sort of improves the guile and variations in his bowling. Somehow I've seen him tending to bowl a bit too short for the pace that he bowls with.
True.
And maybe, again, Rohit may not want to risk something like that.
I think probably where he might be more effective is on a wicket which is slow and low, because he bowls those cutters. I think that's where he's more effective, as a variation which comes from him. So yeah, But I think on that same note, Mahesh, when you mentioned about coming back from injury, coming back from a huge layoff, right? So that's where I had huge respect for a guy named Mohammad Shami. The way he
Oh
bowled
yeah.
in that game, oh my God. The second game now we're talking about, moving from the first one.
Okay, I have got
Yeah.
something to say about Mohammad Shami.
Mm.
You know where Mohammad Shami was during his lockdown? He was in his farmhouse.
Yeah.
And in his
Correct.
farmhouse, he's prepared a wicket. So
Mm.
he was bowling.
Yes.
Whereas all these guys, whether it is Rohit Sharma, whether it's Jasprit Bumrah, they all stay in flats. There's
Mm.
no way they can go and bowl. Whereas this guy was staying in the countryside. So he
Mm.
had got a pitch, he had got his cousin staying with him, and he used to practice, he used to run. See, nothing like running in the open, right? You all will agree with that. Running on a treadmill and running in the open are two different things. This guy used to run, and like what you said, he was brilliant in that spell against Delhi Capital. I
Yes.
think he was the only Indian who did not seem to have been to have got a layoff. He came and
Yes.
he bowled brilliantly. So
Look,
probably
look at
that
look,
could have been the only reason.
look at
Mahesh,
the swing that
Mahesh,
he
when are you
could
going to go
bring.
to your farmhouse?
Very shortly.
Okay, so here's a tip for all cricketers during lockdown: own a farmhouse, please.
Good one.
Yeah.
So Shankara,
So
you
yeah,
were
you
asking
saying
something.
something. Yeah, correct.
No. I mean, look at the swing that he was able to bring onto the pitch
Oh yeah.
like that. We were thinking these are
Mm.
flat pitches and there is no bounce or there is no swing happening. Looking at
Mm.
the day one in Abu Dhabi, we thought it is
Mm.
a very flat pitch and it
Correct.
is not at all helping a bowler to get that swing. But the
Yeah.
second day, you see the way this guy brought that
Mm-hmm.
pace and the swing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
He
I
was
think.
amazing.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. I think
He
they
bowls
left
this
a lot of
heavy
grass
mode.
on that wicket in Dubai as well for the same reason, that because it's a long tournament and the wickets will wear out soon. So just to hold it together, probably that's why they left a lot of
Correct.
wickets. And that was a wise decision as well, because we saw a game with even bounce and ball coming through nicely as well. So yeah, full marks to them. So yeah, talking about the same game, Yogesh, what do you make of Mayank Agarwal's innings, man? That was
Oh
something
man, just
exceptional.
unfortunate. I think
Yeah.
clinically good hitting, very good
Mm.
timing,
Mhm.
and maybe I one of the best things about IPL I feel is this is such a great practice ground for the India cricketers. I mean,
Mm.
back in the day you would have had your under 19 teams and under 20 teams to visit places like England, Australia, and all of these to get exposure to some of the top talent
Yep.
in other countries. And now what do you have? You have
Yep.
talent all across the world coming in on the same platform and
Yep.
playing against you. So I think from an India cricket point of view, I thought Mayank Agarwal's innings was
Yep.
outstanding. It's a
Yep.
great blessing in a sense to have that sort of practice for our cricketers. I'd say,
Yes.
I think he was slightly unfortunate. Whether he was going for the glory shot, we can kind of, debate about that till the cows
Mm.
come home. But I
Yeah.
think, when you got a full toss slightly away from you,
Exactly.
you may lose control. Sometimes you may lose control. And this is not the first time. I mean, my mind also kind of, went back to Jadeja's shot, wherein, he kind of hit towards the mid wicket and there was the only
Asia Cup.
fielder
Yeah, correct.
lone
India was
fielder
just
out there. Now, I
yeah.
don't think when you're in that moment, you kind of
Mm.
think so much and things like that. And
Mm.
sometimes when you get it in the slot, you just go with
Yes.
it. And
Yes.
something that has worked for you for let's say 40, 50 balls, you
Mm.
feel that it's going to come up for you, isn't it?
I think that ball definitely, if I was playing in his place, my eyes would have lit up, right? Seeing a knee-high full toss
Yeah.
outside off stump as well, right? So it was purely bad luck, I would say, that he found the fielder in the deep. Maybe, yeah, he could have maybe just slashed hard outside off stump to hope that it went past point or something. But yeah, I think in that zone, right, he just wanted to finish the game off.
But
Probably he
just
was,
saying,
dehydrating. That's the reason probably he did not come back to back in
yeah.
the super over as well. That's the only reason I feel he did not come out. But yeah,
So
I think, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So Venu,
Yep. Oops.
my respect
always
to
got
Ben Stokes increases.
Yes,
oh,
exactly the same point. Yeah, right. The
Because
World
he
Cup
was in a
final.
very similar situation, and
Mm,
what he did was he tried to get the scores level and
correct.
then go for the super over. I
Yes.
mean, he could have also tried to hit the ball, and he could have also gone out. But
Safety
so
first.
I think
Yep.
it's person to person it changes, it varies,
Agree.
right?
Yeah, but the only difference there is it was a last ball, and here there were three balls to go, right? Yeah, but then again, I do get it that if you are the man doing the job, finish it off. Don't leave it for somebody else,
Correct.
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, right. Yeah,
now
I think it was pure luck. What
point at
happened
this
to the last ball? as well. With Jordan, it's the same full toss, and he found the same man again, right? The one man in the leg side.
Yeah.
There's one point
I-
I'd like to kind of bring on
Yeah.
table now, that
Mm-hmm.
as this tournament progresses, it is going
Mm.
to increasingly test people's physical fitness levels also.
Yes.
You would have actually seen in first few matches, the players
Mm.
have been sweating bucket loads. To
Correct.
sweat in one game is okay. If you have to do it at a regular interval after every 2 or 3 days, it's going to
Yes.
take a lot out of players. And so, one of the things that you need to keep watching out for is how players are actually reacting to the heat and dehydration, and how
Yes.
teams are managing their rotations accordingly.
Correct. Correct. Agree.
So
Yeah.
that will be a disadvantage for the Chennai Super Kings because they've got players over 30, 35. So they're going to take a longer time to come
Mm.
back to normal, right?
Okay.
Okay, can I go back to the Dhoni incidents a bit now?
All right.
We've actually not got there, so maybe
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
we're
get
not
there,
got
we'll
there
talk
yet.
about.
We still have one more game to go before coming to
uh,
yesterday's game. So yes, you had something to say, Sankara.
Yeah, so if you look at many matches you would have seen in the past,
Hmm.
whenever there is a super over, the
Hmm.
strategy that they try to follow is bring in the new batsman than a set batsman who was already hitting.
Correct.
Any views on that? Why would they go for a completely a new pair
Hmm.
than getting somebody who's already there and
Agreed.
already set, who knows the
Yep.
pitch, who timed it so well, and then
Correct.
Mayank Agarwal, I
Hmm.
mean,
I
he
think the
played
only
so
reason,
well.
yeah, correct. Only reason I could think so is fitness. Maybe he was dehydrating and he wasn't able to continue. That's the only reason which I can think of. Otherwise, logic says the guy who's in the middle, who's seeing it well, hitting
Yeah.
it well, whose muscles are running in the right direction, and he's kind of in the zone, right? So otherwise, everybody else is sitting in the dugout. They have to come back again into the game zone, and it's so difficult to kind of do something like that. Yeah, I agree.
I agree, Venu. Correct. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
He must be tired. He must be dehydrated. He may have started
mm,
getting cramps. So
correct.
he must have not thought that he's got the energy to clear the
Yeah,
boundary
yep, yep.
easily. Probably that can be the only reason.
Yes. Otherwise, logic
Well, the
says
other
yes.
thing I think,
Hmm.
yeah, the
Sure.
other thing is how well Rabada bowled that over. Getting
Oh,
those two quick
beautiful,
wickets.
beautiful.
Great
He's
stuff.
he's kind of become an expert super over bowler now for
Yeah.
Delhi.
True.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
That again underlines the importance of having one quality go-to bowler in each
Hmm.
side, isn't it? That you need
Yes.
that kind of a bowler in your side, that you can have the likes of Saini and all of that, or even Dale Steyn, but Dale Steyn is sort of
Yep.
on the
Yep.
last legs of his career. When it comes to
Yes.
super over, you need that one man to keep
Yep.
bowling those heavy balls and keep bowling it in the right areas.
Agreed. All right. So Shankara, I'll come to you for the third game. So finally, RCB was able to break the shackles and get a win in their first game, and that too emphatically. But what do you have to say about SRH middle order collapse? I mean, do you think that contributed to the win significantly,
No,
or is it that they have a fragile middle order anyway?
no. Actually, the credit goes to SRH failure
Hmm.
because they failed. That has worked in a favor of RCB. But
Correct.
actually, to look at the RCB's potential and their strength, batting
Hmm.
order strength, they
Hmm.
could have done much more than what they did.
Absolutely. Yep. Agreed. In fact, I
Uh,
thought that credit to Chahal for those
Yeah,
amazing two wickets in the middle,
oh,
right? And especially the ball to Vijay Shankar. That was
Shankar.
Vijay.
test match class, right? That was like wow. Dip and the googly deceiving in flight and turn and taking the top of the stump. Wow, that was brilliant.
And that
And
to a
Venu, this
tall
is the
batsman,
first match
right?
that he's playing.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Mahesh. Yeah, correct. This is the first match that he's playing. Yogesh, you were saying something.
I was saying that too to a tall batsman, to get the tall batsman
Yeah, like
forward
Vijay
and
Shankar.
to beat him
Exactly.
in the dip is just outstanding.
Yes, to a guy who's born and brought up playing spin, right? So that's something amazing,
Yeah.
right? Agreed.
So imagine as the tournament progresses,
Yep.
how important Chahal will be.
I think we
He's going to be
discussed this
quite a
during
handful.
our
Yeah.
pre-tournament,
Yes.
show, right? Wherein we spoke about how Chahal is the key for RCB in the middle, right? Every bowler,
Absolutely.
all the bowlers will revolve around him, and how he's
Yeah.
kind of dominating the proceedings for RCB.
Venu, I think right through the tournament, the
Mm.
team that plays the middle overs well
Hmm.
will go on to win the game. See, in the initial over, the ball being new and hard, it'll
Yes.
start flying off the bat.
Correct.
Okay, and the last 3-4 overs, anyway, everybody just swings the bat.
Hmm.
If you can actually stem the flow of runs
Correct.
from over 7 to over 14,
Yes.
if that I would call as a middle overs,
Correct.
I think that team will definitely do well.
Absolutely. And as a batting side, if you could minimalize the dot balls and
In that.
convert those
Correct.
singles and ones and twos, right?
So whichever team plays the middle overs well will come out on
Agreed.
top.
So, Shankara, in terms of sorry, Yogesh, I just had one question for him. In terms of the decision by, I mean, not the decision or the mistake by Johnny Bairstow, targeting Chahal, do you think he could have waited because you had Shivam Dubey and other bowlers coming after him?
Absolutely, absolutely. There was no hurry, and it is not an uphill target that they needed to achieve.
Right.
And one good over, if they are able to make it one over, that
Right.
turns the whole thing on their side. He could have just waited and watched for some time.
Exactly, right. So, I mean, he was a state batsman. He was going, all guns blazing. He was on song.
Absolutely.
So, what was the need to take that risk against a bowler who was the actual threat, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, Yogesh. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I'd say maybe, for Bairstow, it's more like a lesson learned that what he can and cannot do in future. Maybe at the rate they were going, he would have thought that, maybe a few runs of that over and they're just convincingly on the way to victory then. Obviously misjudged what the other batsmen behind him would do. So maybe, next time when he's in that situation, you might expect him to play a bit more responsibly. Not to say that he wasn't playing responsibly. Maybe he'd kind of play out the key bowlers. Now, just on the point we were talking about the middle overs, right?
Yes.
Actually, if you see all the 4 games so far, and this has actually been true that the teams that have managed middle overs better have actually come on top. So right from the first game, right, Chennai versus Mumbai. It is the Chennai middle order of Raidu and Faf du Plessis who got them over the line. And even the match that, something like, let's say, the where Mayank Agarwal was playing, right? In the middle, when you put your things better, you put your team in such a competition.
Yep, agreed. Yes, and I think, so is it, sorry.
Any views on why Kane was not picked for that match? He was leading the side and then brought them to a stage where last year when Warner was not around and then suddenly keeping him aside and also trying to bring your views on what is this entire ratio of 7 and 4. Can they relook at it, overseas players little more than what the current ratio of?
So this was discussed, I guess. It was discussed in the franchise meeting. Most of the franchisees wanted a number of foreign players to be increased to 5. But I think the BCCI was very clear that this tournament is an Indian Premier League. Indian players have to come out of this tournament. It is not to promote foreign players. Okay, so that is the reason why they stuck to 4, and I don't think they're going to change that rule from 4 to 5, at least in the near future.
Yeah, I think it's an even playing ground for all teams.
Yeah,
right?
makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, and Kane Williamson, I think Kane Williamson, according to me, the unluckiest cricketer in the IPL. For somebody who's been so successful, give him a bat tomorrow and score runs.
Are you sure only in the IPL, Mahesh? After what happened?
Actually, he's an unlucky cricketer.
Yeah, but I definitely get his point, right? I think he definitely deserves a look in, given how fragile the middle order looks right now. But again, it comes at the cost of a bowler because I don't think you can drop. I mean, Warner obviously cannot be dropped. Bairstow, after what he did and after what he's been doing with Warner, I don't think that pair cannot be, taken.
And Rashid Khan cannot be dropped.
Rashid Khan cannot be dropped. So those 3 are, there. So either you drop a bowler, that's the only way you could get Kane Williamson in.
So probably instead of Mitchell Marsh, you're saying that we could have got Kane Williamson. On hindsight, yes, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
But
in fact, there's a good replacement coming for Mitchell Marsh, Jason Holder. So I think that's a damn good replacement, given
very good replacement
that he's in and the quality of player that he is. Yeah, Yogesh.
So on Kane Williamson, then is it the sort of the general view that you need players who play in a certain style that you need to have in a T20 team, which kind of makes people like Kane Williamson maybe not such a hot property, and what is true for Kane Williamson is probably also true for Ajinkya Rahane, that somehow teams don't feel the necessity of having somebody
Yes.
with a strike rate of, let's say, 120 instead of 140. But the value
Mm.
of somebody who's 120 is that middle overs we spoke of. People who can
Correct.
consistently score runs there and
Yes.
leave you with the top order and the lower middle order to do the
Yeah.
destructive explosive bits.
Mm. I think
You
Kane
know
would
what?
have definitely got a sense of calm, to that middle
Yeah,
stage, right, where all the wickets were falling around. At least he would have, looked at, forming a partnership, taking the game deep. That's a quality which these guys bring, and I mean, it's unfortunate that he has to miss out, but yeah, that's the reality, right? You can only play four guys. So,
So Yogesh, you are right. I mean, people like you can compare Ajinkya Rahane and Kane Williamson. As the tournament progresses, my
mm,
yeah,
belief is that it's going to get a low-scoring tournament matches.
mm,
Okay, most
mm,
of the matches will come down to 130, 140. When it comes to
yeah.
130, 140 type of scores,
mm,
players like Kane Williamson and Ajinkya Rahane will
mm.
be
Need them.
very useful for any team
Correct.
because of the technique that they have. It is
Yep.
not that you close your eyes and just swing the bat. At
Mm.
130, 140, you need to grind yourself in and score the runs. If
Yep.
runs are going to be a premium then, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's going to be
Yeah.
extremely difficult to score runs.
Yep.
And we are talking maybe 20 days from now,
Mm.
that is going to be the scene in all the venues in the UAE.
Agreed. And I think, is there a case for SRH to reconsider their batting lineup now that we have seen what happened, or is it too early to call? Because I was just thinking, should Manish Pandey be batting at three, or should Vijay Shankar be batting at three? I'm just thinking, should they switch places? Because there is absolutely no experience down the order. If you see
Mm.
the
So, Venu, there is a batsman by the name of Virat Singh,
correct, that's something which we
spoken
spoke
very
about.
highly about.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think he can boil in at number three, Manish
Hmm.
Pandey at four,
Hmm.
probably Shankar at five, and maybe Jason Holder at six. I mean, whatever.
Yep.
Maybe that could be the way forward.
Correct.
But you're right. I mean, they need an extra
Yeah,
batsman
it's very top
because there's
heavy
too
right
much
now.
too
Yeah.
much at the top, and then there's nothing below after number
Exactly,
four and
right.
number
So there's
five.
nobody to guide the team home in situations like these. Exactly what happened in the RCB game,
Correct.
right? There was nobody down the order to kind of take the game deep for them. It was all either hit or miss, right? So, but yeah, unfortunate that Vijay Shankar got a beauty of a ball, the first step itself. But yeah, I mean, I would have been really keen to see how he goes down the order, because I definitely rate him really high as a batsman. But I thought he should come up the order instead of down the order.
Maybe
All right.
Williamson solves that for Hyderabad then.
Yes, agreed. Yep. So coming to yesterday's game, it's quite a paradox. Statisticians delight this game. Huh? I mean, if you look at this game 5 years down the line, you'll say, "Wow, man, what a closely fought contest! 200 and 216, man, 16 runs, such a small margin. Would have been a high-scoring game. Would have been a close contest." But if you saw the reality and if you put the
Yeah.
magic word named context around it, then stats really lie, right? So, what do you have to say
Correct.
about that, Shankara?
No,
Yesterday.
there were so many things that have gone wrong, I would say. So
Hmm.
if I have to pick what went right is easy to say, but if you look at what went wrong,
Hmm.
first of all, if you look at the bowling attack, when both the bowlers, spinners,
Yep.
they were beaten badly. If you look at the way, and he did not try to change the spinners,
Hmm.
both of them,
Correct.
Jadeja and even
And
Piyush
Chavla.
Chawla.
Correct.
Why wouldn't we bring another seamer there or some other person just
Yep.
to break the
Hmm.
rhythm? And
Yep.
after giving like 25 plus runs in a over, he brings the same guy. While
Hmm.
we understand the captain needs to back up, but that I would say that's a bad decision.
Yeah.
And after that, so many no balls in the last over.
Oh my God.
We couldn't really understand that. And these are the two things which actually messed it up for them
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
from a
So
bowling
there
point.
was the,
Yeah.
there was a similarity between yesterday's match and the match between Punjab and Delhi Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
Both the last overs, that the
Yeah.
20th over of the matches,
Yep.
Yep.
proved to be costly for them
Yes.
because there
Agreed.
Jordan gave away a lot of runs, and here
Yep.
yesterday
Yeah.
NGD gave it.
And fielding was not up to the standard. I mean, maybe the field because of the outfield is so skiddy. Because
Yep.
I'm
And
not
the heat as
sure.
well. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Agreed. But I mean, on a separate note, I mean, I'm in awe of Sanju Samson. I mean, the way he played that
oh,
innings, man, it was beautiful,
amazing.
phenomenal to see. I mean, I'm one of his biggest fans, honestly. And just before the game, I think Mahesh, we tweeted right that Sanju Samson. If we really look forward to watching him bat in this side, and he came out all guns blazing, right?
He's a delight, isn't he? He's an
Like,
absolute delight.
yeah,
He makes batting look so easy. I mean,
Yes.
it's so pleasing to the eye.
And no slog, just proper cricketing
nothing.
shots.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Look
I
at
definitely should get a look in.
look at the number of sixers versus number of boundaries there. 9 sixers and 1 boundary in his entire score.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
and then not even just time it so well.
exactly, right. And against proper experienced international bowlers,
Yeah.
like Jadeja, and even the other bowlers, right? When he pulled them,
Piyush Chawla.
Piyush Chawla, and even the fast bowlers when he was pulling them for sixes.
Oh,
I understand it's
Yeah.
a easy track to bat on, but still, the ease with which he played. I mean, it was so pleasing to the eye, right? Sanju Samson. I mean, I definitely feel he definitely needs a look in, at least in the shorter formats for India. ODIs and T20s, I think he's the guy for the future because he's a good outfielder as well, not
Correct.
just a keeper. And definitely, I feel he's missing out. Yep.
is it too early to compare him with Pant and see who will make a cut to the final team as a
Yeah, maybe the end of the
Good
tournament
call.
we can do that. I think it's too early, like what you said. It's only one innings old.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
See, because the problem
I'm
with
just-
Samson is that normally he tends to show that he bats like a millionaire when he's in form. And then suddenly he plays some really atrocious shots and
Yeah.
gets out. And that's when you start pulling your hair and you say, why the hell did he have to do that?
Yeah.
He's such a good
Yeah.
player. He's got so much of skill and talent. But he
Correct.
then invariably plays a very loose shot. Some of
Yep.
his dismissals have been very soft. If you look at over the years, when you think that is going to be the day that he's going to score, he'll play one loose shot and get
Yeah.
out. So
Yep.
he has to cut down on that. His shot selection has to improve.
Yep.
maybe this is the IPL when we actually see a consistent Samson. Hopefully.
Yeah, Manish has echoed Mahesh's point when he says that the consistency part in terms of when it goes through the fag into the tournament. Yeah, I agree. Yep.
But I
Maybe
think,
that's something.
just comparing Pant and Samson. Then at the moment, if you take a snap poll, that poll
Yep.
is going to only have one result. I think.
Oh my God, Rishabh Pant. I think.
Where was Sanju in that 2019 World Cup?
Okay, let's not go into that number 4 debate again.
That we can discuss that till for the next 24 hours, and
Yeah.
we would still not arrive at a consensus, right?
Yes, agreed. Anyways, coming back to the number 4 debate again from yesterday. Should Dhoni have batted at number 4? So, Mahesh, what do you feel?
You want me to go with it?
Yeah.
I think the only position that Dhoni should bat right through the tournament is number 4.
Yes.
Okay, sending in all these kids ahead when you're chasing 217 and giving them opportunity, give them opportunity. I'm not saying no. It's a great
not at
idea
the
to
cost
give
of the
youngsters
game.
opportunity, but not at the cost of a match.
Yeah.
You are chasing 217 runs.
Yep.
Okay, Faf du Plessis was playing well. All that he needed was somebody to take singles and not lose wickets. See, whenever wickets fall at the other end, apart from the fact that the batting side loses wickets, the bowling side gets a lot of confidence. That is something that the batting side should realize. Because when you're 3 down, 4 down, 5 down, then you start thinking of the tail that's going to come up. He should have come definitely. Okay, if he wanted to send Sam Curran ahead, it was fine. But after Sam Curran, he should have come in. Or even after probably Jadeja, he should. But sending the young kid, Gaikwad, to go and face the music, poor guy, he was like, he had no clue of what to do. He just came and ran down the wicket to hit the ball. That's not going to help. And Dhoni has got this knack of, showing you that he could have finished the game, but he did not finish the game. He did something very similar to this in the 2019 World Cup semi-finals.
Yeah.
And there also India lost by some 18, 19 runs. Okay. Now, had he hit those 3 sixes 2 overs before, I'm telling you, Chennai Super Kings would have won this game yesterday.
Yeah, it was an easy track, right? I mean, very hard for the bowlers to contain runs.
And
a
the
smaller
ground was small.
Exactly.
It was not a big ground. It was an easy 6. It was only 60 meters on the square side. Which is nothing in today with the kind of bat that they have today. Even the outside edge will take the ball outside the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, and Dhoni is somebody who you associate with sixes. Where were the sixes? Then he came the last over. He hit 3 sixes, which that is when you started thinking, why didn't he do the 3 overs back? We could have had a much closer game, or in fact, Chennai Super Kings would have won the game.
I think it was like we started watching it, and then we realized it wasn't a movie; it was just a trailer. So
It was so sad.
Yeah. So I mean, it was kind of inexplicable. Sorry,
Inexplicable.
inexplicable.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
slip of
how.
tongue.
That's exactly how he made people feel.
I'm
Sankara,
not
your
able
views
to.
on that?
I don't have words coming out of my mouth right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah,
What do you
I think
think?
people talking about net run rate, I feel it's again something which is baffling because it's just a second game of the tournament. I don't think teams are thinking net run rate at this stage, especially when you have a
Yeah.
long series ahead of you and so many games to play, right? So it doesn't make any sense. I can understand if you want to look at the net run rate scenario, but try to win the game first, right?
Correct.
If you're not trying to win the game, how will you, gain points? Because points is what will get you ahead, right? Not just the
True.
net
Very
run
true.
rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's put the spotlight on Shankara today. Let's ask him what is your prediction of the day.
Today's match.
Yes, today's game,
Today,
KKR or
today,
Mumbai.
Mumbai has the edge
Mm-hmm.
definitely because they have
Mm-hmm.
already they are a very, very, very well knitted unit. If you look at their understanding and the team collaboration is really, really good. I
Mm-hmm.
think that will favor them. Already they have lost one match and then they would have done some introspection of what were the reasons. I think
Yep.
that will definitely give them the edge.
Yep. Yep. So when you do these predictions, I always wanted to ask you: is there a science behind it? Is there a gut feel or a hunch behind it? How do you come up with these predictions? So,
It's more of a gut feel. So we've been
mm,
watching matches, and
mm,
also let me give you a scenario. When
mm,
you know that there is a batsman who is at the crease and constantly hitting boundaries,
yep,
and you get to see there are some players who know their temperament and they go for a single, and then
mm,
then they slow
mm,
down a bit. But
mm,
then some people they tend to hit all six balls,
mm,
either six boundaries and six. It is impossible for a batsman to do
yeah,
that job
consistently.
consistently every ball. That's
Agreed.
where
Correct.
they fail, and it is obvious that at one ball or the other he would definitely give
Mm,
away the wicket. That's what
yep,
you just get to see. Either he
yep,
is just feeling bit uncomfortable at the crease and then
yep.
not able to move the feet properly, and
Correct.
that one mistake is enough for him to get out of
Agreed.
all the
Yep.
hard work that the guy does. So that comes so naturally. The instinct says probably the
Mm,
next ball is going to be out.
mm.
There was an incident yesterday, Sankara, that you were almost about to predict that. Can you talk us through that?
No, I was chatting with actually Yogi separately on a one-on-one on a WhatsApp chat. We were
Mm.
just thinking this fellow will just move forward. We'll go for a stump out. That has happened actually.
Sam
He,
Curran, you're
he was
talking
hit,
about.
Sam Curran. He was
Mm,
hitting the ball. He was hitting the
mm,
ball outside the crease.
mm,
Playing on the front foot very well. So he already
mm,
did two shots in that over, and then
mm,
there was no need for one more there.
mm,
And then he was trying for
mm.
one more big shot,
Yep.
and that was the guess you could easily do. This is an
Mm.
youngster who doesn't have that control over the
Temperament. Yep. Yep.
temperament, so
Yep.
that's where you get to feel that.
Yep.
I
Agreed.
mean, same is the case when you see a seasoned player like a De Villiers or somebody. They
Mm.
take the time. They don't do that.
Yep. Agreed. People are saying KKR because Mumbai starts their campaign Mumbai style, ekdam laid back and aram se. Yeah, interesting.
But then when the train arrives at the platform, they are the ones who are running to catch it.
Ah.
So that's the beauty of Mumbai, right? Everything goes into auto mode. You just need to stand there, do nothing. You'll be pushed inside, pushed outside. Yeah. So okay, so you say Mumbai, Mahesh. What's your gut feel?
I would want Mumbai to win, no doubt
Mm.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing is that it depends on how well Bumrah is going to bowl that 4 overs. To me,
All right.
Bumrah's 4 overs are going to be extremely important. See, Mumbai doesn't have some great spin bowlers.
Mm.
Maybe I mean they've got Chahar, which is
Mm.
okay, but you don't expect him to run through a side, and the
Yep.
pitches are not that spin friendly as of today. Maybe
Yep.
as the tournament
Yeah.
progresses, it could change. So I
Yep.
think Bumrah was completely off color last time. I
Mm.
only hope that Bumrah
Mm.
comes to his at least about 70-80% of what his actual potential is. I think
Correct.
then Mumbai should be able to sail through.
Correct. I agree. An interesting comment here by Tushar says that Rahane needs to open with Dhawan so that they get a good balance and then they can handle situations way better because Prithvi Shaw just throws his wickets away. So yes, I agree. In fact, this is something which we discussed in our pre-tournament show as well, that, give Prithvi Shaw 4 or 5 games on the top, and see how he goes. Otherwise, if he fails, bring in Rahane. That was my assessment of the Delhi Capitals team because, that experience is required at the top because when you saw a Shami bowling so well, Your first
Yeah.
instinct should be to see him through, right, and attack the other end. But then
Correct.
he chose the wrong option, and that too a delivery which was not there to be hit, right? So the exuberance of youth or inexperience or call it whatever, a brain fade, Yep. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
Mumbai is batting. Okay,
All right,
KKR
interesting.
has won
Wow.
the toss and Mumbai is batting.
So that means, okay, interesting. Let's see how they do again under lights, because the dew factor and so many other factors, batting becomes relatively easy. And you have the Andre Russell factor to contend with as well. So I think
Andre,
that's where not having a quality spinner might be extremely dangerous, because he likes space on the ball. He likes to
Yep.
hit the
Yeah.
line. Yep, interesting.
we should talk about Devdutt Padikkal. According to me, he was a
Oh
very good
yes,
batsman
oh
against
yes, loved watching him. Yes, definitely. I think it's very interesting the way Devdutt Padikkal and Finch opened for RCB, and yesterday Yashasvi and Steve Smith opened
Smith.
for Rajasthan Royals. I think it's a great opportunity for these two left-handers, young Indian cricketers, to
And
learn.
both are very, very good. Let me tell you that.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
I love the
always.
way Devdutt Padikkal batted. And
Oh yes,
Yashasvi, in the Bombay thing, we all know that he's
yes,
capable of scoring big
yes,
runs. He played
yes.
very well in the under-19 World
World
Cup.
Cup. Yes,
So,
agreed.
yeah. But Padikkal was looking like a star right through.
Oh yes, I mean definitely very pleasing on the eye as well, and no slogs, nothing. It's just pure cricketing
But look
shots,
at the
and
confidence. The
yeah,
confidence was mind-blowing.
and he was
First
very
match,
balanced, exactly right, very very balanced, and very composed. He didn't look out of place, right, like you mentioned,
completely,
first game.
absolutely.
Yep,
You said
yep.
it.
Similar player we can look forward today is Shubman Gill. I'm sure he will get an opportunity to
Yeah.
showcase
Hmm.
his talent as well.
Yes, I
He's
think
also very,
we.
very highly rated by a
Yeah.
lot of great cricketers.
I won't name our source, but we have heard from sources that Kolkata is looking to groom him as a future captain. So that's
Oh,
quite interesting. so, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to him as well, because definitely, I mean, it's amazing, right? So many young batsmen fighting for that one or two spots, right, in the Indian middle order.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
going
going
to
to
be
keep
tough
everybody on their toes,
on the
right?
toes.
It will keep
Absolutely.
Shikhar Dhawan on their toes, Rohit Sharma, everybody. See,
Yeah.
nobody can take their place for granted because
Yes.
these young kids are
Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean,
There's no
look at
dearth of
somebody like
talent.
Sanju Samson. He's
Yeah.
struggling to find a place in the Indian team.
Yes, and it's been what, 7 or 8 years now since he's
Yeah,
there in the IPL.
yeah.
He's been really around. I mean, yeah, I definitely felt that he could have been given a longer run when he was selected for the Indian team. But yeah, but that's for a different day altogether. All right, I think yeah. So we won't keep our fans holding any
The
longer,
good,
because the
bad, and
game
the
is going to
googly.
start. The good, bad, and the googly. Yep. So who wants to go first? Yogesh, what about you?
I'd probably go with the good then.
Hmm.
And for me, for what we've seen so far, obviously there's been some outstanding performances from the
Hmm.
batsman to the bowler. We've seen
Yep. I think we lost you,
Sanju
Yogesh.
Samson. Really?
Sorry.
You said
Can you come
Samson?
again? Can
Yeah.
you come
I
again?
was
We
just
lost you in
saying.
between. Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
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 Better.
Yeah. So I'm saying, we've seen some scintillating batting performances, some really good bowling performances as well. But the good for me, from the
Hmm.
games we've seen so far, probably Sanju Samson at the top.
Interesting. Mahesh, what was the bad for you?
To me, two bads. So you can
Hmm.
decide which one. One
Hmm.
was yesterday's last over,
Hmm.
and the last over that was bowled in the Punjab game. The 20th over, I mean, that actually changed the game. I mean, look, if you're
Yeah.
giving more than 20, 25 runs in an over,
Yeah.
see the momentum shifts straight away.
Correct.
Okay, then
Hmm.
it's over. So that's
Yep.
exactly what happened. Whether it was
Hmm.
Chris Jordan bowled a bad over, bowled a
Hmm.
lot of no balls. Same thing with Lungi and Giddy. He
Yep.
also gave
Yeah.
away a lot of runs. So
Yep.
to me, both of them can
Hmm.
fight for the bad title.
All right.
I think that's what.
So, Shankara, do you want to take what is the googly? Googly is basically something which we feel is not expected, or something which we thought
oh,
that wasn't according to plan. So,
so some of them worked for Dhoni. The first match, bringing
hmm.
Karan. Sam Karan was a googly kind.
Yep.
While it worked in the first match, he tried in
Hmm.
the second match as well, but he could have
Hmm.
stopped with only one guy, but not
Hmm.
continued with two more or three
Hmm.
more
Correct.
attempts there. Probably
Correct.
that works once in a while. It doesn't work
Yes.
every time.
Correct.
That's where, like Mahesh was saying, he is the
Hmm.
man who is to bat at four.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
The guiding light for that lineup, actually.
Hmm.
True, very true. He's got the experience
Hmm.
to do it.
Yep. And if we see it in literal terms, we definitely have a googly bowled by our man Chahal.
Chahal.
It was an actual googly and really worked.
And
Brilliant.
got an
Best ball
Indian
in the
batsman,
IPL.
Indian top order batsman out, which is
Yeah.
which is really commendable, right?
Ball of the week for sure.
Yeah.
From what
Yeah.
we have
Oh,
seen.
I think so. No doubts about that.
Yep. Could be ball of the IPL as well. Who knows, right? That was brilliant. I mean,
Absolutely.
to do it first up for a batsman coming in and landing in that spot, right? Amazing, right? And it's like that in between length. You can't go back, and you can't
Yeah.
get fully forward as well. So amazing to see.
Chahal actually said post-match that he discussed with Virat, and he said, okay, we'll probably bowl Googly to Shankar first up. Now imagine having a conversation with captain like that, and then turning up on top of your mark, delivering the ball, and
Correct.
castling somebody like Vijay. I mean, the kind of confidence you'll give to the captain, just
Absolutely.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and that was a game that completely turned the tide, right? After that, there
True.
was absolutely nothing to look forward.
Then it was catch-up game.
Exactly. All right. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Shankara. Appreciate you being on the show and for your time. And we look forward to having you back again in one of the other shows, which we'll do next week or the week after. And maybe come up with some interesting predictions once again. So,
Sure.
so we'll see if Mumbai goes through today or no.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me here. I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you guys soon after maybe a week or maybe in one of the mid-inning show sooner.
Okay.
All right.
Fair
Bye-bye.
enough.
Speak soon.
Bye-bye.